I fell, sir.
Because it's just ridiculous he's even asking Niles, like, what took you so long?
And then he started limping as he was walking.
Oh, yeah, he played that up even after. He even tells Fran, like, when he comes back, like, just say I fell if he asks, like, go along with that story, please.
Yeah. And welcome back, everyone.
Another episode.
Yes, episode 9
That's right.
of season 1.
Personal business.
Will we mix business with pleasure? Will we mix pleasure with business? What will we do?
We will find out as we review this episode of The Nanny today.
Yes. We'll move right into it then.
Yeah, so this one was a fun one. And we're excited to be here for episode 9.
Indeed.
So, quick synopsis of this episode. Maxwell wants to hire popular soap opera star Brock Storm for his latest show. But Brock will only do the show if he gets a date with Fran.
Will it be all calm and sunny weather, or will it be a wild, raging storm?
Just going to have to stay tuned to find out as we review this episode.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you. I got it correct. So, going right into scene 1 here. Fran is coming down for breakfast yet again. And Maxwell says, "Oh, Miss Fine, another stunning yet inappropriate breakfast ensemble you have on today." And Fran says, "You like? They were having a big sale at Victoria's Secret. I bought some other stuff too, but that's my secret."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. She's been shopping at Victoria's Secret. So
nice big robe from Victoria's Secret. And then Maggie comes down and she's in the same robe.
Yes. Yeah. She's sharing with her giving. Well, she mentions it's buy one, get one free, but
she had to do it. Buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
But Maggie really enjoys looking like Fran and wearing the robe.
Yeah. I mean, she looks up to her and wants to kind of imitate her. So why not imitate the fashion as well?
That's right. So here the phone rings and it's Maxwell's business line. And someone you wouldn't expect to be on Maxwell's business line is on the other end.
Yes, none other than Val herself.
That's right. Fran's best friend.
Has somehow figured out the business line.
Yep. So they use Maxwell's personal business line to dish on topics such as the one they talked about today, which was Danny.
Yes.
He's
Danny.
brought up again.
He is, with his lovely, nice girlfriend named Heather Bibelow.
That's right.
And they're going to Puerto Rico.
Drama alert.
I don't know if there's that much drama with it, but it's just a couple going to Puerto Rico.
But it must be serious if they're traveling together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was like devastating news that Val just had to share with Fran, which was totally worth the call on a business line to them.
Yeah. To their perspective.
Yep. And then Maxwell's really worried, especially when a call starts to beep in, because he's expecting a business call all the way from Japan.
Yes, he's meeting with some, I guess, theater people over in Japan and some, yes, Japan, and some actors or people to be the leading man in his shows. So, but to no avail, he is unable to have that call because they call in and Fran does not get off the phone in time, and Val does not hang up either. So
he misses the call. He goes to say hello in Japanese, and the line is dead.
Yes. So Maxwell is quite upset by this.
Yeah, he's mad at Fran about this. And then he goes into the big theme of this episode, which is, Fran, you've got to keep your personal life away from my business life. Business, personal, business, personal. There should be no mixing. They should be divided.
Yes, there's a black and white line between the two.
That's right. So no mixing. He's sick of it.
Yeah, we're not about gray here.
So in this next scene, we're in Maxwell's office, and Fran and Gracie burst into the office. And Fran says she needs money to take Gracie shopping. And Gracie's wearing 2 different shoes in this scene. So I guess she's helping Gracie with her fashion choices.
Yes. Since she's already helped Maggie, it only makes sense to extend the favor and help Gracie out now.
It's true. So that's why she's in the office, but Cece's also there. And Cece comments on Fran's outfit, and she says, "Nanny fine, a synthetic fur. How very PC of you." And Fran goes, "What?" And then she says, "PC as in politically correct." And she says, "Oh, well, actually, it's JC as in JC Penney."
Yeah, that was a pretty good comeback here.
And then Fran says, "Well, your outfit's nice too." And Cece says, "Of course, dear, it's an Adolfo."
Adolfo.
Adolfo.
Yes. You have to say it correctly.
Adolfo.
Yes, it's high society.
So this is where we get into the first burn from Niles. This episode. What does he say?
Yes, he says, as in Hitler.
Yeah, because he's equivalating Cece to Hitler. After she makes that remark that she's wearing clothing by Adolfo.
Well, I thought yeah, I guess that's true. I thought it more meant because he's trying to play on like Adolfo's like Adolf. So,
That's why.
Right.
But he's also saying what a perfect brand that Cece's wearing it because she is evil.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I thought it was more, yeah.
Burn.
Right. Yes, no, I'm
It's
agreeing.
definitely
It
not
is a
flattering
burn.
to
Yes.
be called
Oh,
Hitler.
no, absolutely. I'm agreeing with that. I just, yeah, I don't know, whatever. But yes. Anyways, so on the topic of Adolfo, his full name was Adolfo Faustino Sardina.
Not Adolfo Hitler.
No. Adolfo Faustino Sardinia.
It's a very fancy designer.
He's Spanish, yes. I believe that's Spanish. He was born February 15th, 1923. He died November 27th of 2021.
Wow, recently.
Yes. Actually, it's not Spanish. He's a Cuban born. And he was a milliner, which is a person who makes or sells women's hats.
Wow.
And he did that in the 1950s, and yeah, he opened up a shop or a saloon and a salon, not a saloon. He was a Western.
He did a lot of
from
things.
Country.
A lot.
A salon in New York, and then he retired in '93.
Pretty nice retirement.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty nice high-end company. They're still around. They still looked at their shoes. They make men's and women's stuff now.
Wow.
Their shoes look kind of cool. So
were they high end?
I'm sure they didn't show. They were just like a gallery. It wasn't actually like price tag. But
okay. Well, it must be somewhat high end for Cece to want to wear their clothes.
Yes.
So Cece tells everybody she's getting the big Brock Storm to star in their next show. And Fran knows him very well. She's very impressed with this. And Max doesn't know him at all. And Cece tries to explain that Brock is a big soap opera star. He plays Dr. River Shane on One Day After Another. And he's on the cover of Soap Opera Digest. And then Fran is just super impressed with him as a person because she really believes that he's truly this sensitive person that he plays on TV. Like he wouldn't be able to channel that sensitive nature if he wasn't sensitive and kind and quick-witted himself. And Max doesn't believe this. He says he's just an actor.
Right. I mean, Max knows all about this. He's Broadway. He knows what acting is and how you get the mindset of a different character. It's not really your personality in the acting. So
right.
That's why it's called acting. But
right.
But yeah, obviously he's very familiar with this. Fran, not so much. So she kind of just believes what she sees on TV.
That's
to be their personality. So
fully believes it.
Yes.
So,
but also I think it's like this big fangirling thing since the women know about it and Max doesn't. So
right. So Fran watches him every day on TV.
Yes.
It's a big deal to her.
Yes.
Maxwell's never seen him perform before.
I don't think Max is watching soap operas.
No, he doesn't have time for that.
No.
So Maxwell's open to meeting Brock and understands now. So.
Oh, and also I forgot to mention, Fran, she says he once delivered a baby with 2 broken arms and delivered the baby with his teeth.
Yeah, this was very interesting because they're all like, how did he deliver it? Oh, with his teeth?
Yeah, which I think it also like goes into the wildness of the show, but she's believing it to be like legit. So
like he's amazing.
Right. Yes. Which then Niles responds, "Oh, the man is gifted."
That's crazy.
Yeah. But they're just kind of painting out how like ridiculous the
show gets. Yeah.
Not, I guess, to how much soap operas get.
Insane.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Crazy.
Yes.
Dramatic. So,
all of the above.
All of the above. In this next scene, Maxwell's hosting auditions in his living room. Woo! Yeah, use the living room up. Don't leave the house. It's great.
Yeah. More of that remote life.
Yeah, remote work life. Maxwell Sheffield. Getting it. But Brock is now in their living room. And he is auditioning with a song from the play Oklahoma.
Yes, a great play.
A great play. Have you seen this play before?
I've seen the movie about it, which is like a take on it, but
right.
I don't think I've actually seen the actual true play form of it. But
so Oklahoma was adapted from Lynn Rigg's 1931 play, Green Grow the Lilacs, and has a simple plot. At the turn of the century, in the Oklahoma Territory, a cowboy wants to take a farm girl for a box social, as does somebody else, her family's menacing hired hand. So there's a bunch of show tunes and fun things about that. I want to see it.
Yeah, it
sounds
would be
fun.
Fun to watch the original.
Yeah. But as we can see here, one of the songs requires the spelling of Oklahoma. And this is Brock's big moment here. And he's like, Oklahoma. Then he goes, O-K-H-L. He doesn't know how to spell Oklahoma.
He needs to refer to his notes.
Yeah. So that's a little embarrassing, but not to him. He actually says, I'm meeting with other producers and I'm also meeting with good old Andy, who he's referring to as, who's Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Who we will hear about multiple times on this show.
Yes. So Maxwell's like, Andy, you mean Andrew Lloyd Webber? And he's like, yes. And he invited me out to his place in Southampton for the weekend. And guess what? There's just no spelling in his play. So I wonder whose play I'll choose now.
Yeah.
He can't spell.
Yeah.
He's having a hard time.
Quite offense to it. So.
Yeah. Good old Andy doesn't have him spelling Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So just as he's saying this, Fran walks in and Max says, hey, you can't come in here. We're still having a business meeting. And Fran acts like it's a whole big accident that she's there, but it was totally purposeful. And then she's wearing a big jacket and she rips off her jacket to show her like crazy outfit to grab some attention from Brock. And she just wants to make a big announcement like, I'm here. And then she also wants to meet Brock too.
Yes. Yeah, definitely this risque outfit to try
Very risque.
To try to grab his attention and
in front of the kids, which is weird.
Yeah, that's true. I
Crazy.
Didn't think about that. But yeah, that's a good point.
It's a very revealing outfit that Fran was wearing. It was a fun outfit, but
fuzzy things or fur things. I don't.
Yeah, it was like
that material
a belly shirt and like a big shirt.
I don't know what the foufla. That's what
Fluff.
I call it.
Yeah.
Foufla.
Foufla.
Yes.
Okay. I've never heard that before. So Brock is immediately interested as Fran enters, and he says to Max, oh, is this your lovely wife? And Max says, oh, no, this is the nanny. And Brock says, okay, well, I might do your play, but in order to do it, I need top billing. I need more money than everybody else. And oh, yeah, I would like a date with your nanny. Or he says, I need the nanny too. And Max says, once he leaves, he says to Cece, now he can get somebody else to take care of his children. Why does he need my nanny to take care of his children? And Cece says, I don't think he needs anyone to take care of his children.
Oh, yeah, they say he doesn't have any children.
He doesn't have any children.
Yeah.
And now Max understands why he wants the nanny.
Yes.
So he was first very, very confused by this. Couldn't understand it. But in this next scene, the kids, Fran and Niles, are all watching TV and they see Brock on TV. Shocker. And they're like explaining this whole scene here. So they say the woman on TV's pregnant, Brock's the father, and then there's a big like question on he's still in a coma. There's a lot going on this soap opera that they're watching here.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, plus he's had a vasectomy. And they say, well, is that man like viral or what? And then Gracie goes, well, what's a vasectomy? And they say, oh, it's a elective surgery. And then is it Maggie who says, oh, like Cece when she went to Switzerland and came back without her thighs, which was relative, I guess.
Yeah, Fran has quite the reaction to that comment.
And Cece, that's just interesting. So then Gracie goes, oh, she's like totally relating the two together. And she says, well, did Cece have a vasectomy? And then they say, oh, no, honey, she didn't. And then Niles comes in with the second burn here.
Yes, I hear she's given a few.
Which, yikes.
Yeah.
I knew Niles wouldn't be able to resist.
Oh, yeah, this is just classic T-ball right here.
Yeah, so he loved chiming in with that.
Yeah.
Maxwell starts calling for Niles. And Niles is really annoyed that Maxwell's calling him into his office. And he says, as if I have nothing better to do with my life than be at his every beck and call. And Fran says, it's as if we were his servants. And then they both look at each other and they say, oh, yeah, because they are.
Yes. The sad reality of it.
Sad. So then Niles, which I think he gets there pretty speedy, he gets to Maxwell's office. And then Maxwell says to him, what took you so long? And this scene was really funny.
Well, yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I think it's because I guess Max is just so frustrated about the situation and going back and forth with Cece and who's already in the room. They've been going back and forth about it. He's very agitated by it. And so being exasperated by that, what seems to be taking forever for Niles is like maybe a little bit longer than normal, but he's just already over the top with everything. So
that's right.
Just like, you know, it's like, which then Niles' brilliant comment is, I fell, sir.
Because it's just ridiculous he's even asking Niles, like, what took you so long? So he's like, I fell, sir.
Which I would think he's holding, like, you know, mine is just totally
like a tea set, a kettle.
Yeah, but the silver platter, they have a special name for it. But whatever, he's holding the thing with all the tea kettle and everything on it. I mean, you would have thought if he fell with that, unless he fell before he grabbed it,
Yeah,
you would have heard like a massive crash with everything.
And there wouldn't be tea. Oh, well, maybe he'd like restock it and everything after, but
yeah, and maybe, I mean, then he would have got over in his suit probably. He would have probably needed a change or something. Like, I don't know. But anyway, I loved his
really
the way it just his reaction to it was very well played. Yeah.
I fell, sir.
And then he started limping as he was walking.
Oh yeah, he played that up even after. He even tells Fran, like, when he comes back, like, just say I fell if he asks, like, go along with that story, please.
Yeah.
So he walks into the office and Cece is begging Max, please use Fran. Please, we need to get Brock in our play. He's a really big star. We need him. And she says, Maxwell, darling, I'm begging you. We just have to do it. And then Maxwell says, well, I find the whole idea repulsive. And this is Niles' burn number 3 because he walks into this conversation. He has no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, she's like rubbing his shoulders. And then after they say those comments, Niles gasps kind of quietly to himself about it. But then he walks up to Max and says, way to play, hard to get, sir. And then Max, of course, says, get your head out of the gutter, Niles. And But then his response to vacating the gutters, sir.
And he says, we're talking about Brock Storm. We're not talking about anything else that you think we're talking about.
Yeah.
So then he cuts right to the chase and he says, Brock will only do the show if we set him up with Miss Fine. So you'll actually be doing her a favor, is what Niles said, instead of pimping her.
Yes, yeah. Trying to kind of play on Max's distress about the whole situation.
Yeah, and to which Max says, thank you, Niles. And Niles says, I'm always there for you, sir. So in this next scene, Niles tells Fran, Max wants to speak with you. He wants to see you in his office. And then here's where Cece and Max present the idea of her going on a date tonight with Brock Storm. And all of a sudden, Cece is being really nice to Fran, saying, hey, Fran, why don't you sit over here next to me? And calling her Franula and all these crazy nicknames.
Fran, Franny, Franula.
And Fran's like, okay, I'm really like scared now. Like, what are you guys going to ask me to do?
Well, especially because Cece's always like pretty much a jerk to Fran, and now all of a sudden she's
all
really
fake.
buttoning up to her. So
Yeah. Which this must be how Cece is with like the actors and people that are working with them, or like whenever she needs something. So
yeah.
So they break the whole thing to her, and Fran is very excited, and Cece says, "It's our pleasure." And then she says, "Have a great time." And then Maxwell says, "Well, don't have that good of a time." And then Fran leaves, and she's excited, but then she comes back because she's wise to a lot of this stuff. And then she calls them out when she comes back. She says, "Would Brock by any chance have the hots for me, and me going out with him tonight be really good for your play?" And then Cece totally like tries to fake here. She goes, "Miss Fine, how could you imply that we would do something like this?" And then Maxwell says, "Shut up, Cece. Yes, yes, it's all true. We're sacrificing you to Brock to close our filthy business deal." So he just like totally comes clean because he feels so guilty about this.
Yeah, the guilt eats him alive here. Where Cece has no guilt here, and clearly it shows. So.
Yeah, she's like trying to paint the whole thing like, "Oh, no, of course not."
Well, especially too, because right, if Fran and Brock hit it off, then her competition is gone for Max. So
Yeah.
of course she's all for it. So
Oh, yeah, she loves that even more.
yeah,
Even more.
yeah,
So then Fran goes, "Oh, all right." And then she leaves. But then she comes back again and calls Max out. And she says, "Well, wouldn't this be mixing business with personal now?" And Max goes, "Oh, well, that's just a silly rule. And, sometimes rules, they're meant to be broken." And he says, he just starts to unravel here. He goes, "I want you to mix business with personal. I want you to have Val call my business line and invite her over, have a party." And then he hands her his credit card and says, "Why don't you redecorate the whole house for me?" And then Fran goes, "Okay." And then she leaves. And then Cece goes, "You know what? I think I will handle the negotiations with Brock's agent, if you don't mind."
yeah. Well, and also this like meltdown by Max too, and he finally caves in. He's like, I want this. I want mixed business and personal," which for the audio only, he's putting his hands up and down.
Yeah.
Over,
Go ahead,
over
mix
each
it together,
other,
mix it
Yeah,
together.
and then Cece's like, "What is this you're doing with it going like this? Why am I not a part of this?" So.
What is mixing here? What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, she thinks it's in a different direction, but
Oh, yeah.
but anyway, yeah. So Max, I don't know, this whole scene, he's just quite agitated, and lots of tension here for him, and
Lots of tension.
and flustered, but I would say this is definitely worthy of his dating debacle moment.
That's right.
This is probably there's not a better opportunity for this.
I can't agree more. Maxwell loses it. He loses his mind.
Yeah.
He then caves. He feels so guilty over anything that would manipulate Fran. So.
Which I appreciate his morals here.
I do too.
Quite nice that he's such a...
He cares.
Yeah.
He's honest.
Yeah, this moral bankrupt is how he put it, which I thought was quite the expression. So
in this next scene, we see Fran's room and the ladies are in the room. So it's Val, Gracie, Maggie. And Maggie says to Fran, "Oh, isn't it amazing how our lives are completely the same? I mean, you're going out with the hottest soap star and I'm dating Eddie." So Eddie's brought up again.
Yeah, they're still dating at this point. So
they're still an item.
But then she's comparing, which is quite the
comparison.
Reputation for Eddie, but kudos to them.
Yep. So Fran goes, "Yes, it's so similar. It's scary." So I think they're just helping Fran get ready for her big date.
Well, and I think too, actually, I just thought of this. You see almost a lot in this episode where Maggie is like looking up to or really wanting the same life as like Fran with the same
That's
robes.
True.
Now it's the same people they're dating. So
that's true.
Anyway, yeah.
She's idolizing Fran a lot.
Yeah.
So Val and the kids are talking about perfume, and Val is viewing Fran's closet and really just complimenting how big of a walk-in it is and how her hangers smell and everything. So Val is enjoying this lifestyle. of Fran's.
Yeah, she's completely bamboozled about this walk-in closet.
She had to take an antihistamine once she smelled the hangers.
Yeah, that was an interesting comment.
It was very interesting. So Niles comes in and interrupts and says, Brock is here. And then Max is downstairs talking with Brock and says that they think they will strike a deal together. And then Brock says, fabulous. And Max thinks he's talking about the deal that he's trying to get going with Brock. But he's really talking about Fran walking down the stairs. So Fran then says hi to Brock, and she introduces Val as her best friend. And Val is very smitten with Brock, too. So Val must watch the soap opera.
Yes, yeah. We also see here when Brock sees her the first time and says, oh, you look so stunning. And since you look so stunning, that makes me look even better. Which now we start
self-absorbed,
slowly seeing the egotistical side and not the doctor caring personality of Mr. Brock himself.
It's all about him, isn't it?
Yes. Mr. Storm has a different personality. We are finding out slowly.
I didn't even remember that comment, so that was good that you picked up on that.
Yeah.
So Fran says, I didn't know how to dress. I didn't know what we were doing. And he says, anything you want, mon amour. And then Max in the background goes, mon amour, isn't he just the phoniest human being you've ever seen? And Niles said, would you be counting Miss Babcock? So another burn by Niles.
Yes, keeping them coming.
Fran then says to Max, like, Mr. Sheffield, this is the most exciting night of my life. I owe it all to you. And then he says, you don't owe me anything. And he says, you don't owe him anything either. So I think Maxwell's really worried about this date.
Yeah, he's afraid of it going well. And maybe because he's got feelings for Fran. So
yeah, Maxwell is clearly jealous at this point. And I think Niles is picking up on it because he says, is everything okay, sir?
Yeah.
And Niles also says, well, she seems quite fine with the arrangement. Then Niles says, well, she was even floating on air. And then Maxwell says, hot air, I might add. And then he says, Niles, to wrap this all up, he says, are you worried she'll have a bad time or a good one? Calling out Maxwell.
Yeah, we know. I mean, Niles just sees through right through Max. Obviously, they've been friends for a long time, companions for a long time. So Niles knows exactly what is going through Max's head. So he
knows what's up.
Enjoying just kind of prying through his mind, and Max is not liking that. So
nope. He says, you're really starting to get on my nerves, Niles. And Niles says, all in a day's work, sir. So
yes, yeah. Just looking out for him.
Just looking out for him. So in this next scene, we see Brock and Fran, and they are in the back of a limo. And we also see more of Brock being self-absorbed. And he's asking about his hair, like, does this part look better on me, or this part, or should I do my hair this way or that way? And Fran is not having a good time here. So it's all about him. She's sick of it. She asks the driver to drop her off at the house. And then Brock says, nope, driver, keep driving. She's not going home, which I thought, like, wow, that's frightening. If like a woman's asking to go back to her house after a first date, you come in and say no, like you're holding her captive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Time for the life alert button. Get me out of here.
Yeah, she needs some life alert.
Yeah. Or like maybe the driver should just chime in and say, oh, she wants to go home. I don't know. Like, get me out of that situation. That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
So then Brock tries to convince Fran to stick around a little bit longer. And he's like saying sweet lines to her. But the problem is, this is all lines that he learned from his soap opera that Fran has memorized at this point. And she's like, you've already said that to Nurse whoever on this soap opera, and you are not original at all. None of these are your thoughts. You're just taking things from your script now and telling them to me.
Yeah, I think because he's just used to using them in the scripts, and people love that, and it makes him feel like the real deal in the acting, that he can just use it in real life as well and have the same effect as in his soap operas. So
right.
But Fran is a little bit
wiser.
Yeah, and doesn't just take it like that. So she wants a little more genuineness out of him.
Yeah. So she completely realizes, like, he is not the man I thought he was at all. And she pushes him away. And he's not the character from his show. So she's done. So in this next scene, we see Fran coming home to the Sheffield house. And Maxwell's in his robe for nighttime. And he is asleep on the couch, clearly waiting up for Fran. And he lies and said he was just reading a book. And then Brighton wakes up on the next couch and he kind of blows his cover and says, "Is she home yet?"
Yes, and then also I wanted to point out, I don't know if you saw this, but they are wearing the same robe here.
Oh, yeah, Brighton and Maxwell.
Yeah.
Did they have a 2-for-1 special?
Yeah, I guess maybe he got his...
Not a Victoria's Secret.
Yeah,
I don't know where he got his.
Probably like brothers or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought that was interesting how they had father and son wear the robe, and the nanny and daughter same robes. So.
Yes.
Yeah, that theme played out more.
Maybe Maxwell took a page out of Fran's book, and then he bought Brighton the matching set.
That's true.
So Fran just admits that she had a really bad time on her date, and she says that Brock was only interested in one thing. And Max says, "Well, I hold myself completely responsible for all of this." And then he does say here, now he's going back on what he said about business and personal. He says, "We probably just shouldn't mix business with personal anymore." And then, which is interesting because he keeps going back and forth on this, back and forth, back and forth. And Fran says, "It's bound to happen when we're living together." And then Max says, "Well, I guess you're right, because now I would actually care if something were to happen to you." It's the strangest thing, because when you went out that door that evening, and if something terrible were to happen, I would care, is what he says. So,
yes. Well, and also he was very, not to just pass on your remark, but I mean, yes, yeah, no, that was very, very nice of him to say and show affection. That was a good.
Well, is it really showing affection? Because all he says here is, "I would actually care." Like it was strange for him to even like come to his senses and say that for some reason. So
I guess because ultimately he's still eating him up about this whole thing is all because of a value proposition or business proposition.
Right.
So
yeah,
maybe it's more from the business side than the personal side of caring.
Okay,
but
I'm dying. What's your comment?
Well, I know I was just going to mention, when he was really mad at Brock about the whole situation, he said he took advantage of your naivety and complete lack of sophistication.
Oh my gosh, that's really insulting.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. He was really kind of making a dig at Fran.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Same time, but right before this as well. But so maybe he was trying to make up for that.
Yeah, maybe. But I think he's like, these are foreign feelings to him. He is starting to care in a way that he hasn't before for his staff.
Yeah,
which may be a different feeling that he doesn't know how to identify properly. But yet at the same time, he called her naive, and so some of that was insulting. So he's a dapper daddy dating debacle. So Fran says, "Mr. Sheffield, I hope I didn't screw up your play." And then Max says, "Well, frankly, after the way Brock treated you this evening, I'm not sure I'd care to work with him anyway," which is nice because he's sacrificing this whole play because of what happened with Fran. And then Fran says, "Too bad, because he can really hit those high notes now." And Fran says, "Good night," and then leaves him and Brighton in the room. And Brighton says, "Does that mean she kicked him in the..." And then Maxwell goes, "Good night, Brighton."
Yes.
So would you call this a finesse moment, the way she got away from Brock?
Yeah, I mean, clearly he seemed to be pushing a little bit, and she responded, and
she got out of it.
Yeah, so.
Way to go, Fran.
Way to go.
Fran finds finesse. She can get out of a bad situation.
Yes. Also, I just realized on the last remark by Niles, we forgot to go over all his burns after that.
That's true. So let's go over all of Niles' burns from this episode.
We will do that now. Yet again, we're still waiting for Cece to respond. But Niles had some good burns. Yes. Indeed. We had, I hear she's given a few related to vasectomies.
Woo, that was a crazy one.
We had, would that be counting Miss Babcock? When...
That's right. So we have, would that be counting Miss Babcock in response to Maxwell saying that Brock was the phoniest person on earth?
Yes.
Adolfo, as in Hitler. So referring to
yes,
Cece as Hitler.
Yes, yeah, I skipped that one. Thank you.
And then last we had way to play hard to get, sir, in response to Maxwell, darling, I'm begging you. We just have to do it. And Maxwell saying, I find the whole idea repulsive.
I don't know if that was like necessarily a burn or anything, but that was more just like...
I don't know. I thought that was a burn because he's saying to Max, like, I don't know.
I don't know. I guess it's... I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't... It was more like just Niles complimenting Max versus like really digging at Cece.
Yeah, but he's also like complimenting him for turning Cece away.
Yeah.
So that's like a semi-burn.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm iffy on that one, but whatever. I mean, nonetheless, it's not like we're near a tie. I mean, this is a blowout shut down by Niles anyway. So
yeah.
So Niles is keeps on winning. The winning streak is unbroken here.
That's right. I wonder when Cece starts to speak up because I know those burns get going, but I just don't know when.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when they started the first time, but we will definitely let you know when she starts rolling them out.
That's right. Stay tuned.
Yes.
You don't want to miss it. So this last scene, the family's in the living room. Max is talking to Val on his business line because Val called in. And the TV's on. They replaced Brock Storm in the soap opera. And they wonder what happened. And then they're playing crossword puzzles and different games. And Fran says, how do you spell eunuch? Which, what does eunuch mean?
Well, it's eunuchs, yeah.
Yeah, what does it mean?
They didn't have those areas, so.
What?
It's just those areas were no longer with them, so.
What does that mean?
It means exactly what that means.
These areas are no longer with them.
Yes.
Who?
The male. So.
A eunuch is a male that's been castrated.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to say that though.
That's horrifying.
Whatever. Yeah.
So I think they're trying to relate that to why Brock got replaced, but
well, I don't think he got castrated.
No, he didn't, but it's like more of a dig towards him, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What a way to end that episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disturbing.
Yeah, I don't know. That makes me kind of worry about Fran a little bit now here. So. But yeah, there we go. That's the end of the episode.
That's a good way to not. I don't know. That's a unique way to end an episode. But with that, I think we're ready for our recap moment.
Indeed. Let's get to recap.
Let's put this all together. These moments are forever.
All right. So Val calls into Fran on Maxwell's business line.
Ring, ring. I'm calling.
Danny, Heather Biblo.
We're going to Puerto Rico.
Max says that business and personal should not mix together.
None of this, or this.
Max and Cece, they're trying to cast Brock Storm in their play.
The leading actor or lead man in a great at soap operas. Lots of them.
Brock cannot spell Oklahoma.
He needs to go back to first grade.
Brock will do the play, but he needs to go on a date with Fran first.
Yes, because priorities in life.
Max and Cece set Fran up with Brock.
Guilt or not guilt?
Filthy business deal.
Morally bankrupt.
Now, personal and business, they're allowed to mix again.
Mixing and mixing.
Brock is phony and he's self-absorbed.
Yes, the egotistical life of a lead actor.
Max is jealous.
Tensions. Dapper daddy.
Fran, she has a bad time.
An ugly, yes, not an ugly time. A bad time. A bad
very
time
bad
indeed.
Time. Yes. And Fran kicks Brock at the end of the date.
Yes. Eunuch status, question mark?
Eunuch status.
Not a question mark, but
Horrifying.
not that. Yes.
The end.
Yes. Ending now.
Ending now with that.
Yes, please.
Please end.
So, all right. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. So thanks so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
We had an interesting time going over this one. So
it's quite interesting
Yeah.
when business and personal mix and don't mix and mix again. So thanks for joining us for this cool recap.
yes, let us know whether you mix business or personal life.
Yes, is it allowed or is it not allowed? Leave us a comment. Follow
Yes.
us, keep in touch with us, and we can't wait to see you for the next episode.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Ciao.